Yes, Shara, do stay with us as we have further updates and Donald Trump comments. The president has urged the European Union to impose tariffs of up to 100% on China and India in a move aimed at pressuring Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to a US official and an EU diplomat, Trump made the request during a conference call with EU sanctions. Envoy David O'Sullivan and other officials currently visiting Washington for sanctions coordination talks have stated. The push comes amid concerns over China and India's continued purchases of Russian oil, which are seen as critical to sustaining Russia's economy during its ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Although Trump increased tariffs on India by 25% points this summer due to its ties with Russia, he has not yet followed through on harsher measures he had previously suggested. Sharad, we are just talking about a thaw in US and India relations and a possible trade deal being announced. But news of this certainly sounds worrying for the Indian economy. How much would an 100% tariff from the EU on New Delhi impact the economy in India?
Well, I would not like to take these, these assertions being made by President Trump on the EU very seriously, because EU has been very independent in dealing with India. India is already in negotiation as far as a free trade agreement is concerned with EU for a long time now. So I really don't think EU is going to heed to that request of imposing 100% tariffs. EU is heavily dependent on imports from India and China both. So it may be a statement made by President Trump. If you ask me personally speaking, well, I don't really take President Trump's all of his statements very, very seriously. I think so does the rest of the world. They follow the same pattern. I don't think I should be very worried about what he's saying, because, as I said, these are very contradictory moves. On one side, he's trying to praise Prime Minister Modi. He's trying to praise the friendship of India and the US. On the other side, he's trying to tell EU that, all right, you impose 100% tariffs. So these are absolute contradictions and quite a dichotomy, I would say. So I would not rather like to take that seriously. Well, India and America, I must tell you, are natural allies. We are entwined, quite substantially. There are people-to-people relationships. And the entire tech sector in America is being run by Indians. The entire medical sector in America is being controlled directly or indirectly by Indians. And, there are defense relationship, there is space relationship. NASA and ISRO, they work together. So I really don't think there is any scope for President Trump to stretch this beyond a limit. I was always hopeful this is going to turn around. So I would like to disregard the assertion given by President Trump to Europe to impose 100% tariffs. That's not going to happen, I can tell you with conviction.
Yes, and of course, Donald Trump has seen what will be alarming images to him of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping meeting for the first time, and seeming to be warming relations also. Do you think the attempts by Trump to be closer to India now are due to that meeting?
Well, I think President Trump did get a bit emotional after seeing that, Prime Minister Modi sitting with Putin and Xi Jinping. Well, he even said that, I've lost a friend. And then he said, we used to walk in the rose gardens and so on. So he was getting a bit touchy, a bit emotional. Then he said, no, we haven't lost India. They're very much with us. We are friends with India. So I think he's probably can't take India falling into another group. And, as far as India is concerned, we do not follow alignment. We are a non-aligned nation. We have similar relations with Russia, and we value the American friendship as also. And we are trying to normalize our relations with China as well. So India is friends to everyone, I should say. So I don't think there is any reason for President Trump to get worried right now on India falling into another camp. And then probably he might be worried at his own front that he's probably losing a friend, because India was a great strategic partner in Asia. Against China for that matter, and to lose India to that group, obviously he must be repenting that loss in his mind. Although India hasn't been transitioned to another group, India has been reiterating the fact that we still, India and America friendship is still there. We are in dialogue. We value the relationship. So India is not giving any negative comment for America, unlike some of the people in the White House like Peter Navarro, who are making nasty comments. So India has been very pragmatic. India has been very prudent in making the remarks, in making statements. So I really don't think we are going to change sides, change groups, change positions. We are as good as we were earlier before this whole thing started.
Yeah, Sharad, do stay with us for one final update. The White House trade advisor, Peter Navarro, has once again voiced his frustration on the social media platform X. This time, his target is not just India's purchase of Russian oil, but also the Indians who have been fact-checking and adding context to his posts. In a 7-part post, Navarro accused what he called India's keyboard minions of hijacking X's community notes to bury the facts. He further criticised India for maintaining high trade barriers while continuing to access US markets with little restrictions. Navarro's comments have sparked controversy. We are now once again joined by Sharad Kohli. Navarro comes amid many critics of India. They say that India faces little restrictions when it comes to the access of the US economy. They also say, Sharad, that India is funding Vladimir Putin's war machine in his invasion of Ukraine. What do you say to this criticism, and why does India have the leverage, and why does it act the way it does?
Well, I completely disregard the comments being made by Peter Navarro. I don't think India has restrictions. India has restrictions on the basis of the structure of its economy. India is an agrarian economy. 60 to 70% of the people depend directly or indirectly on agriculture. India is also the largest dairy producer in the world. So we have all the right in the world to protect our two main sectors, which is what the core of the dialogue was. I don't know why Peter Navarro is getting so touchy. And the choice of words, as I said earlier, which Peter Navarro has been using, is definitely not following the principles of diplomacy. To call India as a laundromat, and he's accusing India of snatching away the jobs because India is funding Russian war. Well, it's a very, very remote relationship. He's trying to connect things which are totally unconnected. He said because India is buying oil from Russia, therefore Russia is getting money, and therefore we have to support Ukraine because Ukraine is getting hit. We have to pump in money in Ukraine. Therefore, we are not able to create jobs in the US. I think that is connecting apples and oranges together. They have no connection whatsoever. So I think Peter Navarro needs to hold on to his guns, which is the blabbermouth that he's turning out to be. I completely disregard, refute the comments made by Peter Navarro. I think he should be more responsible. Being in the White House, being in the inner coterie of President Trump, he has to be very careful in making these statements, which is why you saw a fact check coming from X. And I think he deserved all of that. I don't think he's liking that somebody is trying to contest what he's saying. Very irresponsible statements, I would say. I completely refute and disregard those statements.
Okay, thank you very much, Sharad, for joining us. Always a pleasure to speak to you and get your insight on those economic matters.